Welcome to the Burning Youth Oak Band podcast. I'm Andrew Riefenstahl. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing a fun subject of life and death in the universe, Indigenous people, Australians, resource management, and of course, Karbach Beer, our sponsor tonight, as well as Modelo. So please stick around and enjoy. Thank you so much.
BYOB.
Nice to meet you, Andrew.
Nice to meet you, Lincoln. Lincoln Kaufman here to my left. Dalton Melanson.
Melanson.
Did I get it right?
Melanson.
Melanson.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the podcast.
Riley Sklar, I'd like to welcome you to the podcast.
Who are you? My name is Riley Sklar. I am sitting on your panel tonight with Jordan, Dalton, Lincoln, and Andrew.
Jordan
Hughes.
Jordan Hughes.
Thanks.
J-Dog.
JDZ.
Jordan, what's going on tonight?
Well, I'm alive, man. I'm just living life. That's what's going on tonight. It feels good to drink a beer and hang out with the homies.
It does.
Yeah.
Cheers to that, man.
I'm not dead.
Well.
I'm not
very
dead.
well.
It's going very well.
Salud.
Salud.
And most ironically, that's a great segue into the topic of tonight's podcast, which is life and death.
All right. Well, that's an intense topic, guys.
Why is it intense, though? It's intense. Why?
Life's intense.
Okay, agreed.
You know, it comes at you freaking quick. And death comes at you quicker.
Have you been watching some old Western movies?
No. I just mean it in a sense of relativity to how long you've been on the planet.
Like geologic time versus how long a human really lasts.
You think about your concept of time is based on a 27-and-a-half-year-old's concept of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't compare 40 years. You haven't been there yet. So I think, when you get up into your late 50s, early 60s, your mortality is something you start to think about it, and it seems like it's coming at you quick. Do you remember how long it took you to go from 0 to 12?
Me?
You seem like you got to 12 before you knew it, right?
I didn't know anything.
Well, 12 years goes by way quicker for someone that's 55 or 60 years old.
Well, for all you 12-year-old listeners out there, we just like to forewarn you that this is not a forecast of your actual future, but the possibility of a future that may become of you.
Holy shit. That was crazy.
So,
Interesting thought.
Do you think we have a lot of middle school listeners?
I hope not. I don't know if I was ready to hear this in middle school. Mortality's a heavy thing, man.
Well,
Life and
spirituality and perception of time have a lot to do with, how you even talk about life and death.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
With your own self.
But you could talk about it metaphorically in how we kind of understand or conceptualize it. Or you could talk about have you ever had near-death experience?
Right, well, I'm sure between the five of us, there's probably a couple of those.
let's put it into geological relativity. So geological time, in our perspective, is incomprehensible. We went to McKinney Falls out here in West Austin not too long ago. And, it's this limestone sculpture that's just been carved out of the straight limestone rock over an amount of time that we can't even comprehend. It's been there for 40, 50, 60, 150,000 years.
So you're talking about the death in that rock?
No, how long that rock has lived there on the planet.
Yeah, so, at any point, this rock could collapse into an underwater cavern and, it's geological time. It's just a matter of when is that going to happen. It happens over such a long period of time that we are just a snapshot in geology.
Humans.
I mean, if you think of the bigger picture, what's the planet other than another living thing? And everything has a lifespan, right?
Yeah.
So,
big time.
Of course, what you're saying, eventually this is...
Well, there's a cosmic lifetime,
Yeah, but is there life on these?
If you view the galaxy as a giant explosion, every firecracker that you pop off at 4th of July eventually stops.
Mm-hmm. That's a
And
really good
dissipates.
point. Yeah.
Hey.
So,
There's poetry in my
maybe
head.
that's something, I don't know, I'm kind of...
There's two views to the universe. There's the expanding theory that the universe is constantly expanding and will never end, and it'll eventually, matter will slow down, and because everything's so spaced out, there's going to be no more heat, and then it goes negative Kelvin. Then there's like this other theory that the universe is expanding. It's going to reach a point, and just like a frequency wavelength on our guitar or any of our instruments, it's going to come back, it's going to expand and then whiplash back and collapse back down into another Big Bang, basically, like another central point of focus.
Oh, like dropping a penny in a bowl of water.
And
the riptide's coming back into it. Yeah.
Exactly. Basically, the riptide, it expands, and then just like, imagine, it kind of plays with string theory, which is that everything runs along the same sort of spectrum, right? We see it in our electromagnetism.
So when you die, does it affect that ripple at all? I mean,
does a grain of sand affect
a
wave on the beach?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Well,
Of course it
a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe
it
a lot of them.
a tiny
them.
bit,
Of
a
course
lot
it
of
does.
them. You're going to be in,
So with the second
to affect space and time.
idea where it all comes together, I guess it's just like the Big Bang is cyclical, and it,
Yes. And there's...
and Earth dying and
Sure,
coming
and just
reborn.
reforming
And that kind of plays on binary theory too. Things are zeros and one, things are up, things are down. The universe is growing and shrinking. Your life is
There's
having
death,
constant
there's
ups and
life,
downs
yeah.
if you take it to our like primordial view.
I'm on like a human
AKA
level.
human
Like
level.
our perception of it all and just our understanding of it all is very like, kind of
Impossible.
blindered on. Like we have a human perception. We know what Earth is like just because like water's here and like the way we can just survive and like exist and understand is very specific. So on like a galactic level,
In relation to the sun. I mean,
yeah, like our
like
solar
that
system's
gives us
super
life here.
nice. Yeah, it's like very like
it allows life to grow.
we're just like right in the habitable zone.
The habitable zone.
Yeah.
My
It's
favorite.
easy to be here. Like it's been comfortable
That's
for
where I
us
keep
to-
all my food.
You don't eat much.
But the universe is a big place.
Well, which brings you back down to like when you have this lifespan that everyone else has set for you, right? It's a precedent. Like men will die at 72 or something.
They're pushing
And then
it,
so you're like living your
pushing
life
the
thinking,
limit.
am I going to die then? Will I die before, after? And then when you have these near-death experiences, they blow your fucking mind because you're like,
Have you
is
had?
it my time?
And then you're
Is it
thinking,
my-
in at least half of the other multi-dimensions, I just died.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Right,
This is
so
the
like-
one that
I love this
survived.
multiverse theory. I'm
the
about
multiverse
this.
theory, yeah. So
Yeah.
like if, I'm walking across the street, jaywalking because I'm partying with you fucking animals. And I get hit by a Prius in half of those dimensions, Like,
And the other half, it's a
I'm
Ford
just saying, like,
truck.
that's another concept to kind of play with, which I think is cool because then
Hell
that
yeah.
concept of the universe expanding and retracting can play out differently in each one of those dimensions, right? We could.
That's a fucking trip.
So maybe that theory is one that
Shit.
lies within the multiverse theory, right?
That's what I'm talking about. That's the
Schrodinger-
kind of shit I want to hear on this fucking podcast.
Multi-dimensional podcast brought to you by our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. Modelo for tonight.
Modelo.
That's the
Also, let's not forget from straight out of Houston, Carbach,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Very
brewery.
good beer.
Hopadilla IPA.
Zane, if you're listening,
Zane, our boy
Very
Zane, if
delicious.
you're out there
Very,
on
very
the
delicious.
wavelength,
yeah, the
Do
Hopadillo is
you
my
read
favorite beer.
us?
Texan beer
Zane.
and stuff.
it is I,
Shout
Love
out.
Street. I want
Love
to be
Street
your
is very
cool
good,
sh-
too.
I
Yeah, that's
fucking
another
love
good one
it.
by him.
I
Little
love
sympathy
Street.
for
If
the
you
lager,
are in the
Dude.
Houston area on a Sunday, I highly recommend going down to the brewery. From 12 to 3, they have it open. They've got lots of cool stuff out there.
Yeah.
Giant
This is in
Jenga,
Houston?
Play horseshoe.
What am I talking about,
cornhole,
Houston?
all kinds of
Beautiful
awesome
spot
stuff. It's a
there.
great
Okay,
place.
y'all been?
And it's right
Damn.
down, it's not too far away from Petrol Station,
Okay.
which is another awesome craft brewery hotspot in Houston,
Shout out
Texas.
to Petrol
Nice.
Station.
and if you're
So-
listening to us from Houston, ladies and gentlemen, and we know you would like to be in Austin, but it's all right. Houston's the shit.
Well, I'm a born
It's all
Houstonian
right.
myself, and I do
Life
have to
and
say,
death
I
is
love my city.
Hey, I got a shout out for JJ Watts. I hurt my back recently too, so like, much love, bro.
And Tony Romo.
Yeah, Tony Romo too. Here at his back too.
Yep.
Yeah,
Prayers
we're
to
talking
JJ,
Dallas.
man. Prayers to JJ. For sure.
Modelo.
We're a Texas-based podcasting group talking about life and death.
Actually, we are a Western Hemisphere base, so anyone from the Western Hemisphere, you
If you're
are
tuning in.
local native.
Dude,
Oh.
I go east too.
Local
I'm
natives,
cool with the
great
east.
band.
Speaking of our hemisphere, we just recently ran into a good acquaintance of ours. He was from Australia.
Oi.
Oh yeah, is that what you call him? A good acquaintance.
Okay,
Yeah.
I pick my words.
I would hate to categorize this man as from Australia because I've met a ton of Australians and they're lovely people.
Tell us.
But
Who
this
is
guy
This fucking guy.
was wrecking havoc all over Austin. Came over here totally untamed
For ACL.
for ACL. And I understand the
Classic.
mentality. When you get out there, you want to party and be crazy, but this guy took it to an extreme. A couple of friends of ours maybe helped enable that extreme, but
We did a
that's
little.
something we can talk about, right, Lincoln?
Yeah.
What do you think about that, man?
I just want to say he made me listen to NXS with him, and that was cool.
We like
we
NXS.
love NXS. We do.
We
But
like. I said like.
He made me
You said
dance.
love.
He made me dance. It was very uncomfortable. He's like, "Yeah, you love it, dance. You love it."
Do you want?
Well, they're from Australia, so like those.
Come on.
I mean, I was just gonna say, did you feel at any time threatened by the man?
Did I what?
Were you threatened by the man?
Show us on the doll.
No,
where
the
he
fucking
touched-
wanker
How
came out,
crazy
guns
was it?
ablazing, fucking chugging every beer left
Who
and
are
right,
you,
smoking.
Bostonian Riley?
Dude, his name was Tyler. The fucking kid.
Taylor, Sydney
That was
Sydney,
Taylor.
fucking Australia.
Was he from?
Yeah, he was.
Well, let me tell you. Look,
Let me hear,
I
were
brought
you
up
threatened?
Aboriginals, and I was like, "Dude, I watched this documentary on Aboriginals. They're so cool." And he
You should
immediately,
know not to just bring that up with any
Look,
old.
if someone were to come to
Australian.
Texas and be like, "Dude, the Comanche, dude, the fucking
They won't.
Anasazi in the Southwestern,"
How do you feel
They'll
about
be
your
like,
indigenous
Bush,
population?
what's
How
up
do you
with
feel
Bush?
a lot about you.
about your indigenous? But yeah, but think about it. What I asked you the other day was like, yes, he was wrong. Obviously, I'm not defending him, but if you were to walk up to somebody from whichever country and say, "What do you think about your indigenous population?" Like, that's a fucking weird thing to say.
I disagree. I honestly, for me, I don't go to Australia. I haven't been. I will be someday. But I mean, like, for me, I was just saying, like, dude, your country's history is really interesting, and it hurts to hear that you have such hate, like on a textbook level. That's like an American level sometimes with our indigenous population. And so, if anything, it was eye-opening to me to understand that there's constant borders between populations of humans.
Hell
It doesn't
yeah.
matter where you are. There's always some sort of dividing line.
Fuck yeah, the United States is fucking crazy state to state. I mean, everybody's different. Like it's
Yeah, it's
and
like
that's right here. You think it's crazy going to another country? It happens right here. You go to the
tribalism.
Northeast and you run into fucking Bostonian Riley, and you're like, "Hey, get out of my fucking face! I'm from Texas." But this motherfucker's coming up.
No,
You
he
gotta
does have
fight.
a point though. He
You
does have
gotta-
a point though, because the Standing Rock Sioux are defending their territory right now against the pipeline.
But yeah, okay.
And that
but
is-
I don't think Bostonians are indigenous people.
does
I would just like to interject here.
They love
they
Sam
fought
Adams
for their
lager, though.
freedom?
But like tribalism's real, and it's easy to identify ourselves between like different, groups and things that make us different. And it's easy to fucking subjugate people and like use resources against each other. But if we're talking about life and death and get into like the rest of the cosmos, we have to understand humanity and us being not one tribe, not one state,
Yeah.
just like people
We're on a spaceship.
with crazy ideas.
We're on a spaceship.
We're
Wait.
blowing through outer space at a fucking million light years, and
Yeah.
we're all on one little rock, and we're just
There's a lot more
driving it.
life than death, though. Right now, would you say though?
But we're all
I mean,
still
Yes,
worried
no,
about.
all it is
like
is
more
like-
people being born than people
Wait till we
dying
get to outer
right now,
space,
which
and
is
then people are
crazy
like, oh.
for this spaceship, which is running off these resources. Can we accommodate all these people that are being gifted life when not enough people
Look at it
who
this way.
need to die? No, I'm just kidding. That's
Well,
not-
no, you bring up an interesting
It's
point about life or
interesting.
death. That I often find people want to, have an agenda on persuading you what is the bringer of end times, what the biggest problem we have on this planet is. But I never hear anybody want to talk about something that I think is very real. And I hope you would all agree. Overpopulation's coming at us quick.
Oh my god! Yes.
This planet, the spaceship, so to speak, can only hold so many people.
Spaceship.
And when the number of people outweighs the amount of resources on this planet, we are,
We're being weighed down.
there's
but
a
not-
ton of resources on this planet. And I don't mean that we would drain the
Really.
planet. I think we would fail to
manage them properly.
manage them throughout the
Right.
communities.
Okay, so he's got a
you know-
very correct point, and the point is that if we don't, as a fucking species come together and realize that we need to manage these all together. You know, if we keep having factions fighting against each other for resources and we mismanage to the point where it's unsustainable for the entire Earth, as a human species, we should come together and manage those together so we can be sustainable.
Yeah, but
and that's how we persevere as
I'm
a
thinking
species.
of maybe the population as a whole. It's like, are there more young people who don't have a voice and can't have a say than there are old people now? Like, in a way, you know what I mean? There's like more people who can't influence anything, but now there's fewer people who can, and they're not helping or going.
Well, naturally, unless you're going against like everything we're talking about,
but that's
each
crazy.
coming generation is going to be bigger than the generation before.
No, it's totally going
that's
that
nuts.
way. It's totally going that way. And the biggest thing is food and water, you know?
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of people and they're gonna like
There's a lot of water.
Yeah, but there's resources out there. We just need to be able to
If you can filtration,
supply chain management, logistical support, you know, all make agreements, treaties, MOUs, whatever it takes to like.
But if a lot of
be
those people who are
it's
going to
about
come around,
consumption as well.
Yeah.
The big proponents of this and the like people that are in charge are the like consumers.
I just want to say that the law of conservation of energy is like, you know, matter cannot be created or destroyed. So right now what's going on Earth, we have gravity thanks to the Earth's core. So shit is being like clung to us, right? So there's our matter, you know, it's not being created or destroyed. It's there. And so what we're doing as humans is we're unlocking the molecules of carbon and element of it from out of the Earth, throwing it into a layer, you know, like imagine a thin layer.
Yeah.
Right.
And so like, yeah, energy's not being created or destroyed, but like what's happening is we're making that layer by taking it out of the Earth from our limestone, from our fossil fuels. It's just, you know,
Right,
and it's been
and
natural for years, but now we're just
right. And once we reach a point where our life is unsustainable, we'll die off. And millions of years later, if the planet is still here, whatever new sentient or, you know, life comes about will be drilling for us.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Oh, wow. And he has a
here
really
come
good point.
the McKinnon Falls
The
fossils.
resources,
This
matter
is it.
can't be destroyed or created.
Yeah, but
they will be
we're
recycled. The things that are being laid on the earth here to be left and decompose onto this
You're
planet,
talking about carbon,
which is everything.
it was
But
forests.
carbon
and
is also, forests are life. He has a point. Like, it's still dinosaurs. We're still,
Yeah.
once everything's compressed and it becomes mineralized.
Cement
Yeah, but I
buried
immediately
underneath
thought
all
of
our-
the McKinney Falls fossils that he was talking about. And Dalton's just saying, like, that will be us. They will find our fossils and be like, how long have they been living here? Maybe.
No, not the way I see it. Mate.
Look, one day
Well,
you'll
we
be
might
going
die.
through the
Tell
muffler.
Our
of a
generation,
fucking-
maybe.
dude.
You'll be going through the fucking muffler of a fucking 256 AD.
That is fucked, man.
You know,
We're
like-
gonna do a shout out to the fucking Toyota Prius.
This goes out to all of our fossil fuel companies. We love you and support you.
Yeah.
Please send us.
Everybody, Shell, Shell,
Anadarko Petroleum
Valero.
Company. I'd like to give a shout out
Yeah.
to.
All
Houston.
right.
And I had a thought on the whole energy thing. So we've got so right now that layer of carbon.
Energy is life. I mean, in a way.
Yeah.
Like, can we make that
well,
like
chemical
leap?
bonds? Yeah. Like
Yeah.
you break them, you know, there's energy
Fucking-
there. Like that's
yeah.
why we eat each other is to steal that little bit of energy.
Cannibalism.
Yeah,
Yeah.
life cells. Energy is life. Basically, I think we were talking about like the cosmic perspective and how to even like. I feel like I take for granted sometimes that I'm able to like understand on the level of like science, even simple science. You know,
Yeah. Go back like 100 years.
right? No one knew that like 2 electrons made a different element.
Okay. Go back 200 years.
Right. So
Fucking nobody knew that if you grab that rock and hit that motherfucking mammal, it was gonna kill it. All right. If you go,
Yeah.
nobody knew that we were growing legs for a reason. I'm pretty sure for a while we crawled.
For a long time.
Few dudes were writing down like,
I remember my point. It was about not past evolution, but forward evolution. It's like, even if the layer changes and like our planet changes drastically and like the majority of Homo sapien dies, life will always find a way. So like, if you think of that old time machine movie where the guy goes into the future and they're like, evil cave humans.
You just think of the
Yeah, it's
Earth
like-
as a giant
Yeah.
petri dish, man.
Yeah,
the
it's-
shit
well, and
inside
yeah.
of it's going to keep recycling itself and coming up to life, and it's just a matter of how far in the process of decomposition it is. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, at a certain point, that will halt. And maybe that can allude to the, the theory of coming back to 0 Kelvin or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Zero
If you
Kelvin.
didn't,
The death
you know, you
temperature.
How about
Right.
we-
down.
So here's the real question: life and death.
Here's the real question.
So what is the differentiating factor that separates life from death?
Are you talking about
Being
on a pure
alive.
scientific level, or are you talking on a humanitarian
word,
level?
So,
Heartbeat.
for example, if you chop down a tree and you separate its vascular structure so it can no longer respirate,
That's fucked up.
is it dead at that second or does it slowly die? But if
Probably slowly die like
I
a
think
human.
it's
But
slowly
if a
dying
mammal-
because trees aren't sentient. They don't have this loss of
let me
consciousness.
set up the
you know?
question really quick. So if a mammal dies, it dies instantaneously at some sort of point. What separates that transition from it's no longer like
Loss of sense of self.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. The voice of the ego.
Can I quote Carl Sagan?
Oh, no.
Simply saying that
Can you?
the cosmos, we are the cosmos's way of knowing itself. Like what we have as humanity is a way of like perception and like understanding. And we're really good at organizing stuff, right? We make patterns and we figure shit out. We invent science, we invent ways to think about things, and we question things. That's the end of the quote Carl Sagan didn't say.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, with the killing.
So a tree, you must think,
A tree,
does it have
like-
perception or does
Well,
it
the loss
feel?
of sense of self is an interesting thing. Because, yeah.
What I was
expand.
trying to
I mean,
point
yeah,
out was
yeah.
you're talking about how do you define when a subject, whatever it is, dies. When it's,
Yeah.
I think it's hard to measure that when you're talking about something like a tree that doesn't have a sentient sense of self. It's a living thing. It's got life, but it's similar in form of, like a fungal
Paper.
or like what's in a petri dish. It's not sitting there looking you back in the eye and thinking that it's there. It does what it does because
Missing the
it's
bottom half
it's
of it.
cells working together. Now, when you're talking about a mammal or more
So the more
primarily
close,
a human,
Yeah.
that's like, we're aware of this. The fact that we're having this conversation is, consistent with what I'm trying to say. We're sentient. We can talk about these things and understand them. And dying is finite for us. When we lose our sense of self, when you die and you pass, yeah, sure, you could open up that body and you're going to find living cells or dead cells, right? But when it starts decomposing, that's movement of cells. That's a transition, like, how we define life and death is kind of subjective.
It's true. Your
know?
cells are alive when after, like, cells are individual living. The smallest living unit of life is a cell. And so when you die, your consciousness ends. But the cells in your body might still tick for like a little bit because they're still on their metabolic pathways, just like
Well,
like
they're on their half-life.
moving shit
you know?
just around the
I got a
body.
job
And then
to do,
all of a
I'm
sudden the
going.
shipment doesn't come back and they're like, "Yo, Greg, the brain never sent anything back. I think we're fucking dead." And he's like, "Are you serious?"
And then
Did you
silence.
see Inside Out?
Uh-uh.
I mean, that's an interesting thing. Well, that was
Shout
more
out
about
to
emotions.
Pixar or what?
I
mean,
prefer
no big deal,
Osmosis
but-
Jones.
Okay, Osmosis Jones. Next level. I mean, when you're talking about
Magic
cellular
School Bus here.
level animation, Osmosis Jones.
Of course.
I would definitely agree. And I'd like to take that as a time to take a break. And we'll have a word from our sponsors.
It's not just about what you eat.
It's about how you eat it.
I was going to say it's about how you drink.
Modelo, 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 Modelo.
Modelo.
Listen, this shit costs $16 for a 12-pack.
Hey,
It's delicious.
And if you don't think it is, you better lie to yourself and tell yourself.
Yeah.
It's important.
Just buy that
Important,
shit.
man. Coming back from the break.
What a
All right,
weird
let's
break.
talk about a
You can
new
edit that,
subject.
right?
We need to get a little more
Yeah,
linear
let's
with
get
our
more
thought.
mainstream
What's
here.
next on our list
What's
here?
next on our list here?
Well, I think
Oh,
that
nothing.
exactly
Shit.
Barry Bonds autograph.
We did Modelo already.
Write some nails down, bro.
Let's talk about Dallas Cowboys. Thanks for listening to the Burning Youth Oak Band. Make sure you go to our website at www.byoband.org. Leave a comment for us in the comment section. We'd love to hear from our listeners. You guys take it easy. Peace out.